Invisible is a word that means a lot to many people. For me, invisible means something that is hidden, but it's also very real. It does exist, and indeed it has a shape and a form. Living with my condition for 26 years has very clearly made a huge difference in my life, and I've gained many insights along the way. Number one is that others care, and I think that's really important. And when you reach out and when people are aware of this invisible illness that you live with, people do really care and show this care in many different ways. I've had additional insight in that I am more aware that others walking in the street alongside me may also have hidden disabilities. Many others live and work with hidden disabilities. But too often we put on a brave face. Too often it's easy to think, my goodness me, I've just had this very bad news. I'm living with this at the moment. I'm carrying on my normal life. And everybody around me seems to be absolutely fine, but that's not the case. There are often very incorrect assumptions about lifestyle when you're a cancer patient. And in my case, malignant melanoma, goodness me, you must have been a sun worshipper. You must have used sunbeds all of your life, and neither of these are true. In fact, nothing could be further from the truth. My cancer harks back to my childhood. A normal childhood in Scotland, where we ran about in the summer, but often we were burned, but it was too late. All you need are a couple of bad burns in childhood for you to be affected many years later. I find that I have developed a lot of empathy and sensitivity in communicating with others who are unwell. You want to offer support because you realise how lucky you are to be a survivor. And my insight along the way has resulted in since I retired, being involved in cancer research. There have indeed been lots of challenges for other people in my life. And as you would imagine, my family and friends, they have been constantly worried about me. Along the way, I have felt I have to be really strong for others, and that I often cover up how unwell I've been feeling or how worried I've been, especially for my children, for my husband and for my mother. If only I could turn the clock back to the 50s and 60s and warn parents that they had to take care of their children in the sun. The children need to be protected at all times. One of the insights I have gained over the years is make the most of today. You don't know what's round the corner, and I'm always heard to be saying enjoy today. Do what you want to do, enjoy life.
Being diagnosed with MS and coming back to work came with a kind of feeling of imposter syndrome, and that currently for me the disease is invisible. Even though I'm suffering from symptoms daily, other people can't see it. And so I feel that people might be judging me on, why do I say that I'm struggling, or why do I need extra assistance? When in fact it's very real for me, and I'm working out ways to balance my work and my life to make things easy. It's really given me an insight into other people, because chronic illnesses and invisible illnesses are indiscriminate. They can affect anybody. I've learned to be more understanding and a bit more patient with people, because of course you never know what's going on under the surface for other people. The condition has been very hard on my family, on my husband, who has had to pick up a lot of the slack really at home. He has to help out a lot more, which he does very well, I have to say. I'm very lucky. It's also really affected my children, because they've seen me go from being very ill to recovery. They hear when my speech gets affected, and they've learnt to laugh and find it funny, and we find a way around it. So they've taken it all just so well. I'd really like to change the stigma about talking about these kind of conditions, because the more we can talk about it and feel comfortable talking about it, the more we can work out ways to make people's lives easier and to help them be productive at work and have a happy and healthy home life.
I've always liked helping people, and I like to help at my son's school when I can, whether it's walking down to the library or helping reading to older children. I like to try and be as creative as possible, whether it's crafting or thinking what improvements our house needs at the time. I've had quite a few insights since I've been diagnosed with MS. People don't really understand in many ways, including looking one way but feeling the other. I'm always told that I look well, but inside I can actually feel terrible. Doctors judging me medically rather than not the person that's sitting in front of them with all the symptoms. The condition has proved a challenge for other people in my life. Some don't understand how difficult it is on a day-to-day basis. For instance, my dad would say, go to bed early and get up, get a good night's sleep and you'll be less tired in the morning. And MS fatigue doesn't actually work that way. You could have as much sleep as you wanted, but you still wouldn't feel any more rested. I was actually sacked when I found out I had MS, which wasn't very nice. People don't realise, especially in my own personal life, why I can't do certain things. Like my son doesn't understand why I can't go on a rowing boat, but it's because I feel seasick all the time. Going on a rowing boat would make it 10 times worse. There are quite a few things that I would change based on my experience of dealing with MS. I would like people to be less judgmental about others, like people to be more mindful of everyone. I would like to make illnesses that are invisible or can be invisible talked about more, as we are all different. Even two people who have MS are completely different. Listen to the people that actually have the illnesses and make changes nationally to inform and educate others so that we can live amongst each other happily.
It took a while for me to get an official diagnosis. I think one of the reasons why it was so difficult going after doctor after doctor for months and then eventually over a year at a time was because that I was young and I appeared healthy, quote unquote, on the outside. But once I kind of finally got a diagnosis of hip dysplasia, I was able to get more definitive treatment and surgery options for me. And so that kind of helped me get on a better path of learning what to improve for my condition as well as how to treat it. I think for me personally, it's made me more interested in kind of using my current design skills to help improve accessibility design for people that have similar conditions such as mine, but as well as those struggling with other disabilities. I think it's definitely been challenging for my parents at times, especially after recovering from my surgeries. It was difficult for my parents to see me in a state of pain and being uncomfortable, as well as challenging for them to kind of learn how to accommodate and care for me during that time. Even though it was definitely difficult, I think the experiences that I've had with it have helped shape me as a person, but I think in general I would like to kind of change society's stigma around disabilities, especially in younger adults. I think having more empathy and compassion would be beneficial to our world. For me, I would define invisibility as something that is not visually seen or made aware of by others. However, its presence is still existent.